So what is more important to this president, the vaccine mandates or fixing the supply chain as fast as possible?
Well, first I would say that that is not actually what we've seen at companies that have implemented these vaccine requirements that are not even part of federal law yet. Let me just finish. I'm going to let you talk. Don't worry about it. I'm going to let you talk. Okay. So American and Southwest CEOs have made clear their workers will not be there won't be a labor shortage. We've seen United Airlines implement this, and as we've also said, as we work to implement these federal employee requirements, the first step is not firings. It's actually education and counseling.
Counseling. All right. Let's bring back our powerhouse panel with the Vice President of the Commonwealth Foundation and a fellow at the Independent Women's Forum, Jennifer Stefano, and Project 21 National Advisory Board member, Christopher Arps. All right. I want to go back to something we were talking about with the senator a few moments ago, and that's the president's performance the other night. There were times, folks, when, he appeared confused, several times sort of losing his train of thought. This time was about the ports. Take a listen.
With 40% of all products coming into the United States of America on the West Coast go through Los Angeles and what am I doing here?
Is it Long Beach?
Long Beach, thank you. A gigantic disadvantage.
Mr. President, the question was on on community colleges, which was a big campaign promise that you made. You talked about that along the campaign trail.
Yeah, and I'm going to get it done.
What were people applauding about the fact that, Anderson Cooper actually, got him back on track? Jennifer, he's getting ready to go overseas for the G20 summit in just a matter of days. He says that America is back, whatever that's supposed to mean. But how seriously is he going to be a force when he's perceived at home as being this weak?
Right. And of course, going abroad after the debacle in Afghanistan, you have a very weakened American president right now, and one that he and his administration, at best, are woefully naive in the way they deal with places like China and others. I think it's very concerning. No American can take joy in watching a president stumble and fumble like that in his ability to speak, and then certainly the consequences on working men and women for his horrific policies. I mean, and for his press secretary to suggest, there's no labor shortage is truly problematic. I think this administration has many, many problems that the legacy media refuses to address.
Well, and remember, though, this is all just really about, people not getting their treadmill on time or high-class problems.
Yeah.
Allison, you're our brand expert, okay?
Yeah.
They keep such a tight rein on him, and he does so few unscripted public events. If you were managing his brand, I'm putting you on the spot here. Is he at this point doing more harm than good to do these types of things, even though it's CNN and the softball questions?
Watching this going into it, I thought, okay, he's going to have his questions, he's going to have his talking points. And when you get to that point where you pretty much get these softball questions and you still can't answer them, that means trouble.
Yeah.
The media is not really calling this out. A lot of the lawmakers, Republicans, are, but there really isn't a way to manage his brand. And he needs to answer unscripted questions, but it seems that he can't. So that, again, it's his credibility, and people are concerned. So I think whatever he does is going to hurt him.
Yeah.
If he answers questions, he doesn't say he's in trouble. If he doesn't, he's in trouble.
People are seeing this. And Chris, new poll numbers came out this week that showed Biden losing support among blacks and Latinos. Now, there's a lot of speculation that this is in part due to the fact that of his perceived weakness, but also the vaccine mandates. What do you think about that?
I think the president is losing support for a whole bunch of reasons, specifically for African Americans. Is what I said last hour. A lot of African American leaders are feeling that the president is not focused on their issues. I think that's why they did a shot over the bow to him. But the performance that we saw the other night is the reason why he does not do sit-down interviews and why he's only had one primetime news conference since he was president. What we're seeing also, it seems like he's having trouble getting the timeline of events in his life correct. He mentioned the other day about going on Amtrak and when he was vice president.
That's right.
That actually happened when he was a senator, and he confused the trip that his wife took to the border during the campaign instead of when he was president. So we're seeing a lot of cognitive difficulties, and I'm sure our enemies are taking notice of this as well.
All right, I've got 30 seconds. We're going to do a really quick whip around. What are you looking for this week? What's the story that you're going to be keeping an eye on this week? Jennifer, I'll go to you.
Yeah, I think it's a continued emphasis on the Department of Justice and the White House colluding to go after parents who politically disagree with them. And of course, the impact on working families and their kitchen tables. This inflation is not going away.
Right.
And there's real world consequences, especially for the elections in 2022.
Chris, real quick.
I'm looking to see if the Democrats will make their self-imposed October 31st deadline for the Build Back Better plan.
All right, and Allison?
Just I want to see Dr. Fauci tomorrow on the Sunday show. See what he says.
Oh, yeah, that's always a treat.
Yes,
All right.
function.
Thanks so much to our panel. Great stuff, everybody.